Yeah, g'day guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now this week, I'm going to take a look at some work holding. Now it seems easy enough. You just throw a vise on the milling table, or you throw a chuck on the lathe, grab your parts, and away you go. But unfortunately, that whole gripping the part thing is often more challenging than it looks. Now vises come in different qualities and styles. For example, this here is a simple drill vise, which I made in my apprenticeship in the Air Force. That was our basic engineering project. Moving up, we've got kind of the generic grinding vise. These things are actually really good. They're surprisingly accurate and surprisingly rigid. So within limitations, these are often a very good option. About 20 years ago, I got my first mill. It was just an engraver frame from my scrap dealer for 20 bucks, which I put a Sherline spindle on. It wasn't a great machine, but it needed a vise, so I got a cheap import vise. And that's what I've been using ever since. It's just your typical import vise, 100 millimeters wide, and it can open up as far as about 100 millimeters as well. This vise has got some limitations. While being nice and light and easy to put on the table, it does kind of limit the size of parts we can machine with it. It's not the most accurate thing in the world, and when it clamps, it doesn't have great repeatability. So I've kind of been on the lookout for a better vise for a fair while, but I'm so cheap that I can't just run out and buy one. Now before we get started, this channel is supported by Patreons and members. So if you're interested, I'm doing a live stream for my Patreons and members on Monday evening. Come and join us. Mail time. Now this is something which showed up in the German classifieds, and I didn't see it, but my mate Luke down in Malta tends to monitor these things. It was a good price, but unfortunately it was pickup only. So I put out a request on the German Zerspannungsbude forum asking if there was anybody in that area who would be okay with shipping it to Vienna. And luckily, a very nice gentleman by the name of Andre said, yep, he'd do it. Now you might be wondering, wait a minute, something's missing, but there's not. It was just too heavy to ship in one box. It is a high quality vise for the milling machine. So I just Googled Forza 3050 and sure enough these are still made. And in fact I've just worked out what an amazing deal I got on this, because I only paid €120 plus 30 postage, but it's a nearly €1,200 vise. So a huge thank you to Andre for going to all the trouble of going around, picking it up, boxing it up, sending it through to me. That's fantastic, mate. And also a big thank you to Michael, who also offered to do that job. Brilliant, guys. Now I've just got a bit of a puzzle of how it all goes back together. Right, let's take a detailed look at this. So this is one of these hardened steel vise bases. Guess you can clamp it either from the side, or what's really helpful, it's got two clamping holes in the middle, plus key slots so that I can put alignment keys on so I don't have to dial it in every time. That would be useful. Also key slots, so if I want to put it across the table of the milling machine, in which case it would look comically large, but hey, just give that a quick deburr. A bit of a burr there. Let's have a look at the other side. Definitely some burr somewhere there. Burr on the corner. Glad I didn't drag this thing across my mill table. Right, so this is the fixed jaw with its alignment slot in it. Gets a key through here. There's a bit of corrosion down in there, I'll give that a clean out. So this is our fixed jaw key. As I assemble this, I'll give it all a little coating of corrosion protection. Nope. That's sticking out here too much. Okay, the thing is slightly longer than the vise is wide. A couple of big bolts from underneath. Oh no, these ones go from the top. These need to be torqued precisely. Click. Click. Right, those fixed jaws also get 2 more screws coming up from the bottom. Click, click. Right, got 2 jaws. Bit of damage to them. Now, one thing I noticed is there are these bits of what look like licorice in the box, and I can see that 2 of them have got imprints that look like they come from these bits. So my guess is that these are some sort of dampers that go under the jaws. Okay, it turns out that the 2 jaws have different hole patterns, so therefore this one must be the fixed jaw. Well, looks like that screw's kind of bent. Right, so I read the manual and it says there's basically 2 options for using this. The way these vice jaws are angled and the way they've added some clearance to these mounting holes. You can leave the jaws somewhat loose. The rubber blocks will push them up, and then as the work clamps, they should drop down and pull the work down with them. However, if you also want to, you can clamp them down hard. So I'll leave them loose for now. They say back them off a half a turn. So once again, the licorice blocks go underneath the jaws. And again, I'll back them off a half a turn. Now to close the jaws, you've got a pretty beefy looking block here with a nice bronze nut in it. That looks in fine condition. There's a ball at the bottom, which is somewhat captured. I guess you just slide it into whichever location you want. Also, the screw looks in very good condition, no obvious wear. Now the manual's got a pretty ropey translation in it, so I'm not quite sure, but it would appear to me that you're allowed to use the vise just like this if you need to clamp somewhat uneven parts. However, for most parts, we mount this block and it guides the moving jaw. Very nicely machined, everything. It's all hardened and ground steel. Maybe they meant that movement. Right, so the maximum clamping distance is 10 inches and it's 6 inches wide. Right, now turning our attention to the swivel base, this is Forza's model B150. So the outer ring's got key slots to be aligned to the table of the milling machine. A couple of minor burrs, but otherwise it was fine. And the inner ring will be keyed to this slot on the vise. Okay, so it seems pretty clear that this block clamps on one side. Now the other clamp's a bit different. It's got this counter bore in it, and I've also got this pair of like wedges. So I'm not really sure what they're supposed to wedge up against though. Looks to me like they go in like this. That going over the top, and then 2 more cap head screws. I have no idea the function of those tapered blocks. It starts getting kind of heavy once it's assembled. I'm going to speculate that this block goes on in this direction, so that as you tighten it, it gets forced up against the side of the vise. If anyone's got one of these vises and knows how it's supposed to be done, please drop me a line in the comments section. This needs to go in first, I guess. That doesn't fit through the hole. That doesn't go through there. How the hell do you assemble this thing? To slide the whole vise in from the end once it's assembled would be a nightmare, because you'll be trying to slide along a close tolerance keyway. I guess you have to put everything in at the same time. God, that's going to be a nightmare. Now I'm guessing the idea of this is that this locks rotation. So you clamp the thing down, these guys clamp forward to back, and this clamps rotation. Although this is the way it could be used, the way I'll probably use it most is just without the swivel base. I also received this. Klaus said he wanted to donate something to the channel. So let's take a look. Hey, that looks cool. Is that some sort of special texture or a setting? Klaus informed me it's one of Bamboo Labs' special build plates. I'll leave an affiliate link below. So this is what Klaus makes. Various knives and sort of box cutter holders and stuff with his CNC machine. That is beautiful. Thanks very much, Klaus. Just push that to retract. Nicely done. I'll leave a link. Right, back at the vise, let's make some alignment keys to speed up mounting. Okay, so this is designed for, looks like 16mm keys. I think I'll just use a piece of brake rotor. Cleaned up okay. Right, I made up a Joe block stack, which I tested on my vise. So I've zeroed that. Let's give that a quick deburr. Right, now comes the hard part, machining the steps. Now ideally I should probably have some sort of a groove in there, like a relief groove, but I don't. Let's see how it works without it. Oh wait, I want that the other way around. So there I'm spot on. And down this end I'm probably maybe 3 or 4 1/100ths too wide still. But first I'll flip the part and do the other side of it. Nice. Oh, it's got quite a taper though. Okay, let's see what it feels like. So the good end has minimal clearance and the bad end has a bit more. So I'll cut my 2 alignment stones off the good end. There's a burr there. I've set it up using an indicator stand as a stop, so now I can get these to the right length, which is 25 millimeters. This being the internet, I better give these a bit of deburring. It's a nice fit. Right, let's mount this beast. I need these about 270 millimeters apart. I guess I should probably get a bigger torque wrench. Ah yeah, look at that. That's much bigger. That's going to be great, considering that's the maximum envelope of this vise. This is going to be brilliant. With this vise I could easily chuck up a big chunk of metal like this. And you can see how the vise jaws pull the part downwards. Nice. So there we have it. That's my new vise, the Forza 30-150. You'll be seeing that in plenty of upcoming videos. Big thanks to Luke for seeing that vise in the classifieds and sending me through the link. And also an especially big thanks to Andre for going out of his way to go and pick it up, package it up, send it down to me. I really appreciate that, mate. That's great. And by the way, don't forget the members and Patreon's live stream coming up on Monday. I'd love to see you there. Thanks a lot for watching.